Hi guys, it's Aegis here, and today I'm going to show you another deck profile that I've been used or like actually showed you during the previous match, which is Genesis versus Narukami. And today I'm going to do the Genesis part. So this deck is actually my friend's deck, so he allows me to borrow it and have some fun with it, test it around, and let me to adjust a little bit. So I did adjust a little bit. So it will be different, slightly different from what you see in the fight video, but 90% of the content will be the same. So won't be away too much, and the concept will be the same. So let's quickly get into the deck profile. Starting Vanguard, of course, you can use anything you want. And I'm running 4 of the Genesis Dragon. So this is a new card, new VR from VBD12, and with this card you can choose not to run the old dragon already, and he did a lot more things for you. So his first skill is a permanent skill that if your Vanguard circle have 5 or more force marker, then the radar circle behind your Vanguard circle becomes the astral plane, so you can call your Valkerion behind it as usual. And it's a permanent skill, so the astral plane will not be gone after you end your turn unless you write something else and with a different effects. And the second skill is where this card shines the most. It's a Vanguard and Riga skill. When it appears, counterblast 1, search your deck for up to basically one Valkerion, add to your hand and shuffle your deck. If you add 1 to your hand, then you gain 1 force marker and add it to your Vanguard circle. So not only you can guarantee your Valkerion by just counterblasting 1, and you also gain a force marker. So just by writing this card and you use this skill, you already gain 2 force markers. And different from the dragon that you just counterblast 1 for a force marker, now you guarantee your Valkerion, so which is your winning condition and your biggest attacker, which basically get the deck to fight a lot faster, and it's a Riga circle and Vanguard circle skill, so you don't need to actually ride him to get that skill off, and you can still ride your older but stronger Uranus in order to do your fast plays. So of course we are running 4 of the newer Uranus, so that you can just by soul blasting grade up to 5 to open an astral plane, so you don't actually need to have 5 force markers, you only need 3, which is a lot easier. Because just this is already 2. You just need to find a way to get your 3rd force marker, and if you even can get it 4th, then you can put it on the astral plane place where you place your Valkerion. So your Valkerion, if you're using force 2, then your Valkerion can be a 70k 2 crit, which your opponents will be having a hard time to guard with. And of course, with the updates, you will see how easy that can be done. And this is something that I am thinking possible to cut like 1 or so, which is the old trial deck Uranus, because I soul blast a lot with him, and I do a lot of early soul blasts, and I don't soul charge that much until I meet my Valkerion and after it attacks. So the chances that I use the soul blast 2 for him is kind of low until like mid game, and his main uses is to rest him with your Uranus skill as a Vanguard, so you can withstand your Valkerion, and well, you still kind of requires this much Astral Poet, because all 3 of them are all Astral Poet, so you can rest any 2 of them as a Riga to withstand your Valkyrie. So you still do need quite a lot of grade 3s here, and they needs to be Astral Poet so you can stand your Valkyrie. Then of course we are running 4 of the Valkyrians, because if you can't get 1 to your hand using your Genesis Dragon, the name is hard. Yeah, unless you use the dragon skill to pick one up into your hand, you can't gain an extra force marker. So you do need 4 just in case they go into your hand, go to damage, go to drop, or even get into soul. So you do need to increase the rate of Valkerion so that every time you call him, you can basically grab yourself a Valkerion. And then next, I'm running 4 of the Arcturus. So this is a new card from the set, and we'll be pairing with a great one that I'm going to show you when I'm introducing the great ones. But let's talk about her first. So her first skill is a permanent skill, which in Soul her grade +2. So whenever you need to use your Uranus Soul Blast cards up to grade 5, this card herself can already be a 4. So you just need to find a grade 1 to Soul Blast with her, then you can open your astral plane, which is very, very nice. And the second skill, which also links back to what we want to do, is when she appears on Vanguard and Riga Circle, color +1, and show from your hand one of those Astral Poets or a Valkerion, then you gain a force marker. It can be put anywhere, but if you put it under your Vanguard circle, well, on your Vanguard circle, and you so have the great one that I'm going to introduce you in a bit, you get to draw a card. So you, even though you can't draw a card if you don't have the great one pair to do that, you still can gain a force marker, and it can be put anywhere. So just basically riding, trying to get one, you already have 3 force markers. So you just need to find 1 extra force marker if you are playing force 2 to put on the circle where you put your Valkerion, then you're all set. But if you're going force 1, it doesn't matter. You pump your Uranus to 43k, you have your Valkerion for 70k, that's still big enough and still strong enough. Then, I'm running 3 of this new card. It's called Fine, Falling Star Sorcerer Fine. So she got a very interesting skill. It's a Riga skill. When it appears, discard a card from your hand and choose 1 normal unit from your soul and add it to your hand. So you might think, why do I need to pick something from the soul to my hand? That's actually quite important, because your Valkerion usually soul charge you 3 to 5 cards, because you run so many grade 3s, and sometimes you run 5 drive checks, and all of those drive checks will go into your soul, which means your dragon that can also act as a PG, you can pick it up to your hand so that you can use it as a PG. If you are like running out of Valkerion and you can see 1 into your soul, then you can just drop whatever card from your hand and pick up your Valkerion and try to open your astral plane as usual and just play that Valkerion that you'll just add to your hand. So can link with the deck quite a lot in making your soul more like your resources, which is kind of one theme that Genesis want to do. So I think it's still important to play, and I actually did pick a Valkerion once with this card and we meet the game, so worth to put in. And then starting grade 1, let's talk about the pair is Beakers. So this is another new card, so both of them are rares, so it's quite easy to get access to, and her skill also links with what you want to do. So her first skill is when she's retired from the Guardian Circle, put her into your soul. So even if you don't have this grade 1 while you have the grade 2, and you can just guard with this card, put it into your soul, then you have grade 5 for Soul Blast with your Uranus already. So quite easy, and you don't waste your card. Second skill is something that makes her shine so much, is a Vanguard skill. When it appears, Soul Blast 1, which will be your starter, and show from your hand a Astral Poet or your Valkerion, then search your deck for this grade 2, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So as long as you have this card in your opening hand, you don't need to worry about your grade 2, right? So what you need in your starting hand basically is one of your Uranus, and then one of your Valkerion or your dragon. Then you are all set. You are all ready to just do whatever you need to. But if you don't have the dragon, say if you only have these three, then you will need to find yourself to get another one extra force marker in order to have 3 to do the soul blast up to 5 grades in order to open your astral plane. But again, in this deck it's not that hard. And then next, I'm running 2 of the Atlas, another way to help you to get your force marker, draw your card, do some exchanges, and possible to soul charge. So even if you don't draw into her, you still get something that is worth the ride. And most of the time, when I can't do my normal Uranus play, I sometimes find myself a little bit hard to get my pieces to gain the 5th force marker. I'm kind of stuck at 4, so I'm switching into this. My friend is using the bear because he wants to search for Valkerion, but I always believe the dragon can help me get one, so this is the changes that I made to the deck. And then speaking of force markers, of course, I'm using DK because DK can search you some Astral Poet, increasing chances you meet these, and if you can pick up 2 by a very lucky chance, you gain a force marker. So just these, and these are already 3 force markers. But of course, don't always count this in case, because it's not that easy to get 2, but if you do, then things will get it a lot faster. And you can also soul charge your grade 2 when using this skill, so you suddenly have a card that worth grade 4 to soul blast, which helps you to use your Uranus skill a lot easier too. So triggers, quite simple, 8 crits, 4 of the draw PGs, and 4 heals. So it's kind of a basic lineup, nothing much you need to change, but if you want to be very aggressive, you can cut 2 of the draw PGs to the 30k shield crit. So you can go like a 10 crit and just trying to push everything from your hand, rush your opponents off, and hopefully when you do your Uranus and Valkerion play, you can check top 5, drop another Valkerion to get 5 checks and pull like whatever crits you need and just win there, because you got maximum 7 Twin Drive. So from there, if you do like full crits, then every single attack will really matters a lot, and you can also be more confident to use force 1. But if you really want a fast game, you probably will go for force 2, because the turning point, maybe I would say, that you need to decide which force marker you are going to use as actually your grade 2 ride, because this will guarantee your grade 2 ride, and by then you should already in your mind thinking, should I use force 1 or force 2, because when you ride her, you're going to get your force marker, and starting from there all the force marker will be the same. If you get force 1, you will just get force 1 all the way. If you get force 2, you will just get force 2 all the way. So yeah, you do need to have a clear mind on what force that you do want to use, and sometimes it will be like determined depending on what the trigger lineup that you're using. So do have a think, see which one you like. Of course, triggers, these triggers are quite easy to obtain, so even the 30k shield shouldn't cost you a lot. And the, let's say, the cost of difficulty, let's say the difficulty to build this deck is actually not too hard, because if you get the starters, you already have this, you have this, you have this, you have your triggers, and I remember you at least have 1 PG per starter, so if you get 2, you already get 2, then you can choose to get the 30k shield, so just try to find 2 more PGs, which shouldn't be hard to find, and you have all your triggers. maybe even if you just need to find some extra crit or whatever, they are just common, so it's quite easy. The new parts, this and this and this, and they are not expensive at all. The most expensive part I would say will be your DK and your newer Uranus. So these will be the parts that you're probably going to spend most of your money on, and then these should be easy. And Valkerion, unless you are like, I want to like have max rarity or like full of high rarity, you want the SSR version, you want the ASL version, then well, that's another story. But if you are just looking for some Valkyrians to use, there's always the TD foil, TD common, so they aren't too hard to find. And of course these ones are from the new set as well, but they are just common. So yeah, overall the deck shouldn't be too hard to complete, as long as you're willing to pay money for your DK and your Uranus. Then it's other parts are just basically starter and some rares. Yeah, basically. So yep, that's basically the list, and we will be back soon to let you know some writing options sequence, or some steps that you can do to make sure if you got a good hand, or if you need to go for the 5 force brutes, what you should do. So we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. So let's talk about how we pilot this deck, or some options that you should take note on, and anything about this deck. So most ideal ride, of course, is still that, because you get first to get a draw, and then you just soul blast one, so your opponent one of these, or hopefully these, and can also be these, of course, and then you will grab yourself a grade 2 so you can secure your grade 2 ride. And since you have one of those, the next turn when you ride her, you kind of lost one and show that same card again, get yourself a force, draw yourself a card, and probably just swing. But if you also have a like a DK, then you can also call it out, put something into the soul, probably best this, so that you can ready for a soul blast and see if you can find these again. You can even put it up and then just swing in. If you put this up, then you can also swing with this as well. And up to grade 3, of course, this is your most ideal ride. This is okay. Sorry to say, but this will be your nightmare. So with this, what you now need to do is make sure you have a Valkerion in your hand. Then you can already do some basic moves like Soul Blast up to 5, open yourself a Astral Plane, and call yourself a Valkerion. And if you by chance to have 2 more of these, then you can still use them, and if you have an extra Color Blast, you can already search yourself for a second copy of Valkerion so that you can ready for next turn, or even just use it as a cost for PG if you need it, but hopefully not. But even if you don't have these, just by Soul Blasting 2 cards, allowing you to do these is already great. Because you can swing with your Valkerion first and put all the stuff here and attack with this and try to put something here, whatever that card is. Could be this, could be another grade 2 or anything that can help you. But most of the case, you first this Soul Blast, get yourself a 2, right, and then right, and Soul Blast these for Astral Plane and call that, then you already have no souls. So you need to rely on Valkerion to soul charge to get yourself some soul, which is where DK and your Atlas, Atlas can help you to gain more force markers and also put something into the soul. This will put himself, he will put another card. So still try to make sure you don't lose the momentum. You can just basically call your Valkerion every single turn. That's the target that you want to do. You might not have 2 Astral Poet, which you probably should, but there are times that you won't. But if you can get it, make sure you put them onto your field so that you can just rest them and swing with your Valkerion 2 times 70k for 2 attacks is just massive and crazy. And if you got a force 2 marker there, your opponent probably is already screaming somehow. If they don't have enough cards to protect. And this can be done when you first ride, and if you are going first, your opponent really probably just going to cry. But say if you don't have this and you have to ride this, so what happening will be like this. So still 0, still that, get yourself a 2, right, then you already have one of the force marker. Just put something here so you can see. And when you ride, you first get another force marker as usual, then you counterblast 1 and get yourself a Valkerion, and you can get already another one. Then now what you need is 2 more, and this is where the old Uranus come into handy. So you can just Soul Blast 2, even though it's kind of a waste, but if you don't have him, then you just need to do whatever to gain yourself another force marker, and now what you need is 1. So this can do the job, this probably can do the job, and if you already have these in, so you can probably not call these first and try to call yourself another grade 2 counterblast 1 and gain another one, and now you can call your Uranus and Soul Blast and get your 5th. Then since you already used counterblast to get yourself a carry, you can just call it out. So will probably be something like this. Then you can still use your Valkerion to attack, but the issue with this route is you probably don't have enough resources to place a force marker under here, so your Valkerion will just swing for 1 damage at least, which is a kind of a weak point, but again, things happen and we can't like guarantee every single time we can do the same move, doing the same thing and winning the same way. But we still need to find ourselves a way to get to our winning condition, and even if you go from here, it is not like the end of the day. You can still find yourself in the force markers. It's like 1 counterblast, 2 counterblast, 3 counterblast, but then there's 4 counterblasts and you need to Soul Blast 2. So I have to say it's a little bit harsh, but you can still get there. But also don't force yourself to get enough force markers to just do a Valkerion call, because unless you're really going for like force 1, then you can probably still have a high power with your Vanguard line for your opponents to drop a lot of cards to guard. If not, then I rather like keep the Valkerion in my hand and just place a few force markers here. Then you just call some random units out, like just trying to use this to gain yourself some force marker, maybe call this to Soul Blast and gain yourself another force marker and just swing from there. If you don't feel yourself comfortable to push for 5, or you know you won't get there, don't rush it. You rather just guarantee yourself to have around 3 force marker under your Vanguard circle, or maybe just 2. Then whenever you meet your Uranus, you ride, you still can get a force marker. So if you're free, then you can just put it there. If you're going force 2. If you're going force 1, then you can just go 2 and then ride and gain another one and try to soul blast 5 from there, which hopefully you will get your pair. Then you can just soul blast 5. You open an extra plane and call your Valkerion. So overall, the deck is quite easy to pilot. I have to say, I do like how they make the upgrades. It is quite accessible because well, Valkerion is a starter card, but this probably is the card that you need to work hard the most, and your DK, probably these two, because PG is retrained in the starter, your starter Uranus is there, and you don't need the other dragon. This is also in your starter, this is also in your starter, and the rest is basically just commons and rares, basically. So it's not too hard to build. You just need to find like 2 to 3 pieces from all the sets and you are good to go. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your comments about this deck. Do you like Valkerion? Do you enjoy having 5 checks with him, or you never get some good checks with him? You can just let me know. Yeah, and next I will be doing another Kami deck profile. It will be my own deck, so you can see my builds. This is kind of my way of thinking, but most of the ideas from a friend, so I just build on top of it. Yeah, so again, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.